Welcome to the Mismatch. I'm Chris Vernon, and joining me does every week from TheRinger.com is Dave Jacoby. Jacoby!
Game 5 just ended, Verno.
It did just end, and the Oklahoma City Thunder, when it mattered most, they cranked it up on the Indiana Pacers. That was a 2-point game with 8.5 minutes left, and you certainly wouldn't know it by the final score, and you certainly wouldn't know it by the way that played out in the next 4 to 5 minutes of that game. And capping that and some of their runs that pulled them away in that game, I mean, we have to start with Jalen Williams. That was an all-timer. We had talked so much, even leading into the playoffs, about analyzing these teams. And yes, they have the MVP of the league. Are Chet, are Jalen Williams going to be able to step up? Are they prepared to be the second banana on a championship level team? And at least for tonight, and at least for these last few games, Jalen Williams has proven to be an unbelievable Robin. In fact, he was the role of Batman tonight and gets a 40-point finals game. And of course, I had to run and go look it up because I was like, it seems pretty rare to have a 40-point finals game unless you're a superstar.
This episode is presented by Intuit Credit Karma. Navigate the world of credit cards with Credit Karma's tailored recommendations. It's suitable for anyone interested in taking control of their financial journey with cutting-edge technology. Start at creditkarma.com to find cards that fit your financial lifestyle. Credit Karma, finding the right card for you.
So I went, and here's the active guys that have 40 points finals games.
Currently active.
LeBron James.
Of course.
Steph Curry. Kevin Durant.
Kyrie
Irving. He's done it twice. Jimmy Butler.
Right.
Giannis Antetokounmpo. Nikola Jokic. Devin Booker. Chris Middleton.
Huh.
And the only other 40-plus point game in Thunder Finals history, Russell Westbrook. He had 43 in one of their games in the 2012 Finals. So, you would say, every one of those guys that I just listed, outside of possibly Middleton, which, I mean, when it's all said and done, Middleton, look, Mitch Richmond's in the Hall of Fame. But all those guys, if they never played another minute of basketball, are immediate Hall of Famers, right?
Yes, and I would say Middleton is the only second option because Kyrie and LeBron are both first options. They're on the same team.
Right. I mean, this is how rare this is, though. That's by the way, that's the list. That's the total list of everybody that is an active NBA player that has a 40-point finals game. And it is very Middleton-esque when Middleton had 40 in that finals against the Phoenix Suns, right? Where he is the clear second guy on the team. But that night, he was unbelievable. And he had that 40-point finals game, did Middleton. And tonight, look, they set the tone early. By the time it got to halftime, it's a 14-point game. The things we talked about going into the series, points off turnovers. At that point, it's 15-1. 15-1. And the Pacers reverted back to, you could say Thunder cranked up the defense. Some of this stuff was just mind-numbingly terrible. I mean, Nembhard's just throwing the ball to them.
There's some really bad turnovers from the Pacers.
I mean, rough. And Haliburton has got 0 at half. He has got a bum calf, I guess, and he's minus 16 with them on the floor. They then erase that lead completely, the 14-point deficit, right? They get that thing to 2, and obviously TJ McConnell was great in the third quarter, and they made their run and made it a really good game and really tested Oklahoma City's championship medal by cutting it to 2 with 8:30 left after, you could tell Richard Jefferson saying crowd's getting a little uneasy,
a little anxious. Yep,
a little anxious. They've gone quite a bit of time without scoring at a high rate, and man, I mean, it was just forced turnover, bucket, foul, bucket. I mean, they were great down the stretch of that game. Great. This is exactly what you have to do to win a title.
So I'm going to start with the Thunder, and I think it's worth celebrating J-Dub, because I did a little research on him too, because I remember the Denver series. He had like a down stretch. There was game 4, he was 2 for 13. Game 5, he was 5 for 14. Game 6, he was 3 for 16. And, going into that game 7, there was a real is Jalen Williams good enough to be the second banana to the MVP? Is he good enough to be the second option on championship team? And tonight, that question has been answered. Absolutely answered. I'm not saying the series is over, but I'm saying this performance was fantastic. And I think the last 3 games, it's he's kind of how do you want it? Because if he gets to the rim, he does this thing with the right and the left hand when he gets to the basket where he doesn't use the other hand to gather. Right. It's the little sort of single hand scoop. Yeah. And he uses his offhand to create distance from the defender. I don't care if you're 8 feet tall. With his size and strength, if he's going to the basket and he's got a full left hand or right hand to use to shield you off, and he doesn't have to gather with the second hand, and he just makes it routine. It's such a hard shot. He makes it routine.
You know who it reminds you of? Kyrie, who we had mentioned before. Smaller guys that typically implement this, right?
But he's got this strength with his off arm to shield the defender.
If you remember the year that Isaiah Thomas was averaging 30 points a game, he lived off of this because they always said Isaiah Thomas, he's a short guy, but he has really long arms. But he would always this stuff where you create that space and you're hitting almost these sweeping hook shots. It is lethal. And the rate he makes it is crazy because you're right, the degree of difficulty and the English you have to put on that thing for it to go in is crazy.
And he makes it look so easy and routine. Yep. And it's so hard to do. There's a reason that you don't see it because it's hard. And and then there's a couple baskets where he was just I'm just bigger and stronger and I'm going to get through contact and put this thing off the board. It's going to go in. I'm going to the line. It is a great offensive game from him. And we know what he can do on the other side of the floor. And, I think personally, we have to talk about Haliburton.
What the hell?
We have to talk about him.
Has there ever been a bigger NBA conversation enigma than Tyrese Haliburton has been throughout these playoffs? It's he scores 4, and we're what's wrong with Haliburton?
I tried to tell you before the playoffs started. He's up and down. He's up and down.
But then he might have 34, 9, and 8, and you're what? I don't get it.
And you think he's hurt. Is he hurt or not hurt? Because he looked pretty good when he was in. He finished the game. He came out with 2:30 left. But he's moving around pretty good.
I know he wasn't getting past anybody. I know that.
No.
I know he was in the torture chamber. I know that. That was a mess. That was a mess. Forget all of that's not how they function. Anybody that's watched these Pacers knows there is a level of aggression to make that thing go. And again, they do not count on him like everybody else counts on their star, right? He was scoreless from the field, and they were in a 2-point game.
Yep.
At that point, right? So we know they don't count on him in the same way. That being said, a nothing?
Nothing?
A
4
nothing?
Points from the free throw line?
And you can't tell me that it's unavailable because TJ McConnell came in there and damn near had 20 in the third quarter.
TJ McConnell.
He was unbelievable.
I don't know why he's not playing in the fourth.
Why?
Why is he? I'm sitting there watching the game being why don't we put McConnell back in the game? And Doris started talking about it too. She's well, you don't see a lot of minutes with Haliburton and McConnell. I'm let's do that right now. How about we see those right now?
Well, and she's also And, I guess you need Nembhard in there for his defense. And I'm like, bro, Nembhard is throwing
no one's
them the
stopping
ball.
Anybody. Yeah.
No, Nembhard is literally throwing them the ball for open dunks. He was terrible. Like, it was just like lack of focus stuff. Because he would like drive and get into the paint and then turn and throw it to him. He had two, you're always talking about the pick sixes. Like, there were two of them in the fourth quarter that were he just threw him the ball. Even after the huge Jalen Williams moment where the crowd goes insane, they come back from the break. They come back from the break after a timeout. He throws the ball to Caruso. The first play out of the break after their crowd's on fire. And I'm like, holy mac. It was like if, Hulk Hogan ran out and there's a huge pop in the crowd. And then right when it starts to die down, Randy Savage runs out behind him. And they go crazy all over again. It's like, you had just quelled this. And then Caruso makes that he's diving on the ground for it. He's flying across the ground, making the play. And and I'm like, Nembhard, what are you doing? And if you smile one more time, I'm gonna lose my mind. Because he like smiles after he makes the dumbest effing play in America.
I think low key, Pascal Siakam had 6 turnovers.
Yeah, that's him trying to dribble.
Yeah, it was just like, dude, Nembhard had 4, Haliburton had 3, McConnell had 3 himself. I mean, it was I think the story of this game is like, the Pacers came back and made it close and the Thunder closed out, but that was really on the back of like McConnell and Toppin. Like that was not the Pacers were close to winning this game. This was, I never felt like this would be game 1 over again. Did you?
When it got to 2 with 8 minutes left, I thought, boy, they were up 14. Like, and they were up even a little more. I thought they could do it. I did.
Yeah.
And that's what makes the Oklahoma City thing all the more impressive. I mean, it was 4 straight turnovers when you had to get bucket. I mean, you're in trade bucket time, and they turned it over 4 straight times for just easy points the other way, and that game just got totally away from them. And that was it just took it took longer for that. I didn't know if the Thunder had that tsunami that would come late like that. Mm-hmm. It almost felt like, hey, has Indiana already withstood the best of it? And the answer was no. The best of it was yet to come, and it happened when it mattered most.
I think it's worth mentioning Wallace and Wiggins hitting shots. Oh,
yeah.
Wallace and Wiggins, they hit their shots.
And Wallace had not made one all series.
Ones. Oh, yeah. Wallace has played himself out of the series. And then tonight played himself right back in.
The Dort one that was like 12, and then he hit it from the top of the key to move it to 15.
Yeah, it was a 101 to 116. But then Nesmith answered immediately.
Yeah.
But then
they just could not get any stops.
They couldn't get a stop. And no, there's not a defender. I felt this way about Karl Anthony Towns against the Pacers too. There's not a defender on the Pacers that I feel comfortable staying in front of or stopping J-Dub after tonight.
Well, the problem is it's Nembhard, but he's on
SGA.
What happened in the last game though was they did the no. Let's get Nesmith on SGA. That's how they won game 4, which is the one that's going to haunt them forever.
Which we haven't spoken about. Yeah.
If they end up losing this series, it's going to haunt them forever. But if you watch those video breakdowns of it, it's like they came out of a timeout with like 5 minutes left, and they
spammed it.
Because with the 2 guys, because they hadn't done a lot of the J-Dub screening
SGA,
for, right?
Yep.
But they started doing that, and then tonight, I mean, look, Nesmith had some athletic plays. Certainly, that putback dunk was unbelievable.
I couldn't even see it. I literally didn't even see it on the first play.
Are those 2 guys? They are cooking him. cooking him. Either one of them. And so it's like, all right, take your turn. And so now, I mean, Jalen Williams, it just feels like he could score anytime he wants to on him.
However he wants to.
And
ones, mid-range, threes, getting to the basket with that one-hand scoop thing. And we're coming off a Knicks series where Nesmith was the problem. He was the problem. Is his defense we had to get him off of Jalen Brunson.
Because he was athletic, because he's athletically superior.
And the size.
But he's also athletically superior. That's a fast twitch above the rim guy.
Mm-hmm.
And that athleticism, he's dealing with a special athlete in Jalen Williams. Right? That's not an advantage. The athleticism thing is not an advantage with Jalen Williams for him.
I just don't think you're going to win a championship on the back of TJ McConnell. You know what I mean? I don't see the Larry O'Brien trophy being TJ McConnell finals MVP. That's what it looked like. It was I honestly, in the fourth quarter, I was like, where's McConnell? He's where is he?
How did he not hit that three after Obi Toppin stole the inbounds? I mean, that would have capped off. What would that have been, 20-something in the quarter?
It was insane.
It was he was having an out-of-body experience.
But there's a part of me that's watching the game being like, man, they need McConnell. It's like Haliburton.
It also highlights that you can't make excuses for Haliburton.
No,
bro.
if you're out there and he was moving fine, it's one thing. We saw Game 7 OG last year, or Ja Morant against the Warriors. You're obviously hobbled and you're limping around on the court, but Haliburton was moving pretty good to my eye. Did you feel like he was hobbled?
No. If you did not look, we know that he went to the locker room.
Yes.
We saw the video. We saw him come out. I don't deny that he was wincing when he went down the court, but we were watching him play, and that was not a guy that was limping around everywhere.
Mm-mm.
He wasn't limping around
contesting
everywhere.
shots, jumping up for rebounds. He wasn't
like a
decoy out there,
No, he wasn't limping around everywhere. And so, look, and here's what I'd guess. I guess you get a much better Tyrese Haliburton in the next game.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's what we've been used to. And you know what's crazy that I just saw right before we came on the air tonight? They were the last team to face an elimination game. They have not faced an elimination game.
Yeah.
Yes. So this will be
a series.
So unbelievably, we have not seen the Indiana Pacers in the spot that we will see them in Game 6. They were the last team remaining to not play in a game that could end their season. And so we will get to see it in Indiana.
It's so predictable what's going to happen on Thursday night.
They're going to win and go to 7.
I'll be in this chair. Haliburton's going to take 10 shots in the first quarter. It's so predictable. And the Pacers are going to win the game walking away. It is so predictable what's going to happen in Game 6. Obviously, I have no idea, but it feels like that. Doesn't feel that way. We're going to look at the tape, and Haliburton's going to be more aggressive. He's going to have plenty of time to rest. It's 2 days off, right? Tuesday, Wednesday. Yeah, and you'll see. I think the Pacers walk away with Game 6.
They're going to have Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Yeah, because they don't play until Thursday night. So
Thursday night,
that's a lot of time between games. But look, credit to Oklahoma City, and most importantly, credit to Jalen Williams, who was absolutely unbelievable in this game. I mean, that is, as we mentioned at the very top of the show, that's an all-timer, truly. Middleton is the best comp, right? And we will see where Jalen Williams, where his career goes. But I mean, that has been something reserved for absolute all-time greats. 40-point finals games don't just happen. That's the point here, right? That you don't just get a random 40-point finals game. None of these names are random.
14 for 25 from the field. 3 for 5 from 3. Like it was in free throws. It was just, how do you want it? And who do you want to put in front of me? Because I'm going to get to where I want to go. I was so impressed by that. It did feel a little bit like SGA saw that he was cooking and was like, look, man, like take us home. Yep. Take us home. I didn't feel like there's any ego from SGA, who also played well, but like it was a really, really good game. And I also think we need to hat tip the Thunder defense because, Nembhard threw it to them a few times. Siakam had a bunch of turnovers, but like their defense, man.
Yeah,
they're the best in the league.
22 is crazy. Yeah, against that team. I mean, and the live ball stuff. I mean, you're just.
How many did they have in the first half?
They had 15. Oh, no. It was 15 points off of those. So they probably had more. They cut them down, certainly in the second half.
They've done this before, too.
And guess what? They made it a game. And then they started doing it again, and the game got completely out of hand, right? Like, I mean, this isn't rocket science. And then a lot of the stats that we have talked about throughout this, they lost the 3-point line. That can't happen. I mean, it can't happen. They were 11 for 30 from the 3-point line, and the Thunder were 14 for 32. The Thunder shot 44% from 3 tonight.
And it was Dort. And it was Wiggins and Wallace. Well, let's see. Wiggins is 4 for 7. Wallace is 3 for 4 from 3. And Dort is 3 for 6. Like
by the way, he had not hit one in the finals.
Oh, yeah. The entire series.
Case on Wallace, yeah.
And he started.
Yep.
Here's
they lost it. They lost the 3-point line. They lost the free throw line, and they turned it over 22 times. You have no chance of beating the Oklahoma City Thunder.
With some ugly turnovers, too. Like, not every turnover is equal. Like, ugly turnovers. Ugly pick
Crucial,
sixes.
too.
And just, like, dumb ones. Like
How about the 4 in a row? 4 in a row?
But you're trying a skip pass from, like, the left corner to, like, the right wing against the Thunder? Like, have you seen a Thunder game this year? Like, no. You're not skip passing anything against this team.
In the 4 possessions, you've got to get at minimum 8 points out of those 4 possessions. Not only did you get 0, you gave them up on the other end as well. You didn't even get shots off. 4 possessions in a row down the stretch where they turned it over. And some of them were forced, for sure. The one, when Haliburton tries to throw it over to Siakam and whatever. But, I mean, they got very aggressive. Very aggressive. They were jumping those passing lanes, and then Nembhard just forgot what team he was on. That's the only thing I can. The only thing I can.
I will say there was a couple of defensive breakdowns from the Thunder too. Like I remember Haliburton to Siakam, he's wide open under the basket. McConnell was wide open under the basket. There's a couple of plays where I was like, "Is this the best defense in the league?" Because they're leaving guys wide open under the basket. And here's something I've noticed about.
By the way, did you say Nembhard only had 4 turnovers? I can't believe that.
They were loud. They were loud turnovers.
He threw 2 to them. Then I remember the one that he threw 100 miles an hour to Mathurin under the basket. Remember the one that
And Mathurin's looking at him like, bro, what do you want me to do with that?
Why are you throwing it 100 miles an hour at me?
You want me to catch that and finish that?
I swear to God, I don't know if I've ever heard of a player having 4 turnovers, and I remember all of them so well. All right, you go ahead.
So here's something I've noticed about these entire playoffs. And especially these finals, that's bothering me. I'm going to get into, I complain sometimes. Like I can be complaining.
Let me hear it.
I feel like there's no chippiness. I feel like there's no animosity. I feel like there's no back and forth. There's no guys talking shit to each other. There's no pushing. There's no we have to review this double technical. Like this is game 5 of the finals. You guys should hate each other by now. And I felt, and in the Pistons-Knicks series, there's a little bit of that. And after the Bucks, Pacers, remember Giannis went after Mathurin and obviously Haliburton's father. There's a little bit of like round 1 stuff, but it feels like the Eastern and Western Conference Finals had no tension. And the NBA Finals, like everyone's just helping each other up and like slapping each other in the butt and like being nice to each other. I don't like that.
Yeah,
I want to see more beef.
Part of it is the reactions to like fouls, right? Like the guys don't react to the fouls.
Yes.
And so like you kind of need, like, honestly, our only hope for a tussle would be Mathurin. He's
the
got
wild
that.
card.
Yeah, he's got that edge. He's the one that was wrestling with Jalen Brunson, down on the sidelines, and you could see him.
I don't know what he did to Giannis, but he said something to Giannis.
Right.
Remember the head grab thing? That was weird. But I just don't see it. And again, I'm not rooting for violence, but I'm kind of rooting for violence.
Yeah, I mean, you just want to see an edge.
I like to see teams don't like each other. You know what I mean? Yes. Especially when you play the same guys over and over again. It's got to be frustrating. It seems like the closest we have is Nembhard and SGA, but they're best buddies since second grade or whatever.
Right. They were both kind of laughing at the jump ball.
Yeah, I don't see anything.
When they were wrestling around on the ground, right?
I don't see anything.
No.
I think McConnell fouled, I think it was iHeart or something, and then they're giving each other high fives afterwards. It's what is going on here, guys? I want to see it. I want to see a little bit of pushing. I want to see someone get kicked out. Someone should get ejected from the game. I just want to see it.
I don't think they just don't have it in them. This is
not
the kind of players. It's not the kind of players they are. Yeah.
The Thunder are the youngest team, but they feel also wildly mature. Wildly. Jalen Williams, when he does interviews, it's what are you, 45? What is going on here?
I'll say this. I know there was a lot of talk going into it where it's Indiana and Oklahoma City. And then there's the other talk where it's hey, this isn't for casuals. This is for real basketball fans, whatever. And the ratings and all that crap. Let's just put all that aside. This has been super entertaining to watch.
Great finals.
There's been one dud.
Where was that? Where was the dud?
2 was a dud.
2
was a dud.
I think 2 was
game 2.
But listen,
1 was amazing, and 2 was the response from Oklahoma City.
What you expect, though. It's the best team and the best defense with their backs against the wall. And I won't call it must win because I hate that.
Gotcha.
But it was close enough.
It wasn't super entertaining.
No.
Yeah.
No.
2. I'm saying we're 4 for 5 right now.
Both games in Indiana were fantastic, and I expect nothing less on Thursday night.
And this one was good tonight.
Loved it.
This one was good. I mean, look, this is how you win a title. This is you were pushed backs against the wall. You blew your 14-point lead. They got it to 2, and you nutted up and you made it happen. And then
don't you
get
need more from Haliburton? I need more.
Come on.
It's just
he did what? You mean more than nothing?
More than 0 baskets.
He had the same amount of field goals as Dave Jacoby.
I just felt there's a part of me that was just man, they really need McConnell's energy right now. I was you can't win a championship if you need McConnell's energy right now. You know what I mean? That's how I felt. And Obi Toppin, it's Toppin and McConnell were their 2 most important players on the court, and that's not gonna beat the Thunder.
That's a crazy thing. I mean, Haliburton was legitimately awful. 0.
But he didn't look hurt.
This is the same guy that 2 weeks ago, every NBA podcast in the country is he a top 10 player?
Is he a superstar? Yeah.
Forget all that. I don't know. He had 0. And I remember when we were having the superstar discussion, it was look, I don't know about all that, but I do know what he did tonight was superstar worthy. When he had superstar worthy games,
yeah, the 30-point triple-double against the Knicks. Yeah.
Yeah. What do you want? If that ain't what a superstar does, then I don't know what is, right? He is capable of this, but the crazy thing is he's also capable of this, which is an over 7, just all-time stinker. He did nothing. He did literally nothing.
Wasn't there a part of you when they made that run with about 9 minutes left?
Oh yeah, he's going to show up and have 11
there's a
late.
Part of me that was he's going to score 15 right now.
Yes.
He can go nuclear like that.
Yes.
And I did think there's a part of me that said if this dude who's now 0 for 5, whatever he was at the time, I was I can see him hitting 3 threes in a row and just pulling up from the logo. Yeah. I can see it. I think we're going to have a great game 6. This finals has been fantastic.
Yes.
I've loved this finals.
And I agree with you. I think we're going to get a game 7. I do.
And again,
this still felt like 2 really good teams playing it out. And tonight, those role players and the stuff, they stepped up, right? There is no cushion for the Pacers. There is cushion for Oklahoma City. That is a very, very difficult thing to psychologically, the do or die feeling, right, is hard to work up unless it is truly do or die. But it is for Indiana, and I bet you're going to get a grand slam effort out of them. And Oklahoma City, no matter how much they try to say the opposite, is going to know we can win the NBA title in our home building. We're not losing at home. The only time we have is when Aaron Gordon hit a crazy-ass three and when Tyrese Haliburton
hit like a 22-footer. I mean,
right.
But there is a part of me that's just like Wallace, Wiggins, and Dort just don't hit those shots in Indiana. They just don't. It's just the way it is. And
Tyrese Haliburton somehow remembers how to play basketball.
He should. Someone should remind him. Someone should remind him how to play basketball because, again, I think the story is going to be, oh, he was injured. Oh, he was hobbled. I didn't see it. Seemed okay to me. I don't know. I mean, I saw him jumping around. I saw him dribbling the ball up the court. Making a couple
wasn't
passes.
Hobbling around everywhere.
No, it didn't feel like that at all.
I think he was in the torture chamber.
I don't know, man.
We've seen it before. Like, that's the other thing. It's not like, wow, this is wildly out of character. Like, we have seen him do nothing before.
He does where this, we're like, man.
I know.
Like, Shea's worst game was 24 points. That's his worst game of the playoffs. 24 points. It wasn't even that bad of a game. But to do this, 4 points over 6 from the field, like what?
It's
what's
hard.
Going on?
It's hard to describe how massive. Did you ever foresee a circumstance where Jalen Williams is scoring 40 in a finals game? I mean, like even if we projected him to be the best Robin he can be, right? Which is Shea commands this crazy amount of attention.
Right.
Even then, you're not thinking Jalen Williams or Chet is dropping 40 on you. And he did it.
An efficient 40, hitting threes.
He did it.
Hitting tough and ones from the mid-range. He had one where he was dribbling to his right, and he got fouled hard. He put it off the backboard. It was a little bit of luck, but man, like it's tough buckets over and over.
Still on his rookie contract.
Dude.
Unbelievable. Truly. Unbelievable.
Where did he get picked? He was like a 15, 16 pick. Yeah. Like, dude, he was the best basketball player on the floor tonight, easily. Oh. And what he brings on the defensive side too was absolutely nuts. And I want a game 7. Don't you want a game 7? Come on.
Yes.
Yes.
I want a game 7.
We need it.
Because I'm not totally ready. Like, obviously, look, we've got to cover all the other news. We'll get to the Bane trade in a minute, but I do want to mention the big news that came out tonight was an article that was posted by my buddy John Krasinski, who has been based out of Minnesota forever, is the best beat writer in the country, and Sam Amick for The Athletic. And it is an update on this whole Kevin Durant thing. And because I think by the time we speak next, we could very well have a Durant trade. You have him and his business partner, having their side of things that is getting put out to the media. We have an understanding that it's kind of the Heat, the Spurs, and the Rockets are the desired landing spots. And then you have Krasinski and Amick come in, and they say, basically, here's what's happening. None of those teams have offers that the Suns particularly want, right? Like the Suns are wanting a return for Kevin Durant, especially given what they gave up for him and that they want to and they don't want their team to be crap. So, they don't want, of course, if you're Miami, you're trying to pair up Kevin Durant with Bam Adebayo and Tyler Hero, right? Well, I don't want Andrew Wiggins. Like you take Andrew Wiggins. I don't want Andrew Wiggins. You know what I'm saying? Like that. And again, and then you look at the others and, the Rockets aren't particularly, I don't think they look at it and go, well, you don't have leverage. Like we have leverage. We're good. Like we don't have to have him. Right. And so you don't get to tell us what you want. Like, here's our offer. And it's like, oh, that's not good. And then the Miami offer, that's not good. And then the Spurs offer, the Spurs evidently are pretty tepid about it. It's like, all right, if you want to trade him, like, we'll give you this and this, but like, we don't really. And so the whole point of this is what they're hoping is that, and this is on the Suns side too, is that Kevin Durant changes his mind about Minnesota. Because there's a deal there.
And that comes from Krasinski? I didn't see it.
Yeah. And the idea is that if Durant, they're hoping that he will warm up to Minnesota. That this plays out somewhat like the Jimmy Butler thing, where Jimmy Butler originally didn't really want to go to Golden State, but then you look around and they go, all right, well, I don't want to be here. I do want to play basketball. They will pay me my money. So
the extension,
okay.
Obviously.
Yeah, they'll give me my extension, so I will go do that after all, right? And the Suns, like, there's some kind of framework, whether it's Randall and pairing him up with Booker or it's Gobert, like some kind of framework with that they would work with that would give them, like, an actual player to pair with Devin Booker to be able to get them by. And so now, like, it felt like, just reading it, it was like, I mean, if the Suns are just going to dig their heels in and be like, no, dude, we want to make our team good. We're not trading you just to wherever
for
you
Andrew
want
Wiggins.
and taking whatever they will give us back. Like, we don't need Andrew Wiggins and Duncan Robinson. Like, I'm sorry. Love you, Kev. Sorry it didn't work out here. I'm not trading you for Andrew Wiggins, Duncan Robinson, and some
Wiggins,
baloney,
Wiggins, Beal, and Booker on like the season ticket holders promo image is not great.
So, do you like the idea of Durant in Minnesota?
I'll say this: I don't love the idea of him in San Antonio.
Interesting. With Wemby and with Fox.
Wemby, Fox, the number 2 pick, Castle, Vassell, Sohan. Like, I don't know. Like, I just feel like San Antonio
doesn't feel like the timeline.
I have a good friend of mine named Chris Vernon, who's sort of mapped out that you have to kind of go through these sort of like playoff rounds. You kind of have to earn your scars, is what Chris Vernon likes to say. And I feel like San Antonio is truly 2 or 3 years away from being an actual contender for a championship. And I think that their current roster as structured fits with that sort of a timeline, and Wembanyama in particular. And I think that a Durant move feels like a win now move, and I don't know if that's where they should be. I feel that the Rockets.
What if you looked up and it was and he said, you know what, I will go to Minnesota. I will play alongside Ant, who grew up idolizing me, and the Suns are able to get some kind of combo of like.
But who do you get? Is that Randall and DiVincenzo?
Yeah, Randall, DiVincenzo.
So keep Gobert,
maybe maybe move him, or maybe some of the young guys. Right, they've got some.
You get Naz Reid.
They've got the Terrence Shannons. They've got. I mean, obviously, I would think they would make this move.
I think you're
going
to have to lose
Naz.
Walker, right? Like it just like.
Oh, they are losing him anyway.
Yeah. So it's like.
Do you like the idea of Durant there alongside Ant? I like
Durant on the Rockets. If I had to pick a place for him to go, if I was in charge, if I was just magically, someone said, Jacoby, what do you want to do with Kevin Durant? I think putting him in the Rockets is the most interesting to me for some sort of Jalen Green, Jabari Smith pick thing. And I don't know why the Suns would do that, because I'm like, again, if I'm the Suns,
they wouldn't.
We got Booker and Green and Jabari, who's like a, hypothetically an excellent piece, but I haven't really seen it happen on the floor. You know what I mean? Like, have you ever seen Jabari take over a game? Have you seen him do it?
Well, no, he's young and he's going to grow into it. I would bank on him being outstanding. I think Jabari Jabari Smith is going to be an outstanding NBA player. I think he's in that, these Ichabod Crane timelines. I'm watching Chet right now, right?
Yeah, Chet,
I'm watching him right now. When he fills out, he is gonna be crazy. And look, I'm telling you this because they're all the same. Like, and I have watched Jaren Jackson Jr. be questioned and then become the defensive player of the year. and be a great player in the NBA. I have watched Evan Mobley be questioned and then become the defensive player of the year and then become an all-star and now is going to get, more money than God. And I'm saying with Chet and Jabari, again, even if you want to say Jabari isn't on that level, they're all kind of the same ilk. And I think you're going to look up in a couple of years, and Jabari Smith is an unbelievable defender, an energy guy who can also knock down threes. Like he's still a kid, man. When he fills out, he's going to be a problem in the NBA. I believe that.
I think it's worth mentioning. And again, I'm a negative guy. I've got like a dark heart. Chet is being masked a little bit by the brilliance of SGA and J-Dub. Tonight, he has these flashes. If you were look at his made baskets, you'd be like, God, that guy's amazing.
The mixtape is great.
Yeah, the mixtape is so good. But he's 4 for 15.
Right.
Like, it's like,
he's,
all right.
Again, you're going to look up and he's going to be 30 pounds heavier in a couple of years, and he is going to be a bitch to deal with.
But what was it? I think it was game 3. It was game 3 or game 4 where he had like 12 points in the first quarter. And I was just like, oh, this is the Chet game. And he just disappears. I think it was game 3. He disappears. Like,
he's young
the
and he's
potential
light.
is there. The potential is there. And the ball handling, sometimes you see him like cross over twice and, spin for a layup. And you're like, God, this guy is going to be unstoppable. But like right now in the NBA Finals, Chet has not played a full 48-minute game where I've walked away and been like, man, he's that guy. I haven't seen it. Have you seen it?
Not yet. Back to the Durant thing. Well, look, by the way, and Chet did have 15 rebounds in the last game. Like that's
I'm not saying he's worthless. I'm just like,
he has gotten in the mix. On the Durant front, it's going to be watching this play out is going to be super fascinating because this is like a aged star who's still very good that wants to be able to pick his spot like he's not an aged star who is looking for a 2-year extension at a very high rate of money. And so and we're going to see what Phoenix does with it because this is not dealing with somebody in their prime. Like, does Phoenix say to hell with it? We are getting the best return, Kevin.
Thank you. What is Phoenix's motivation to sort of like put him in a destination where he wants to be? Because I've heard Rich Kleiman's name way too many times in the past 10 days about this. You know what I mean? Like it's every time Shams does an update about the situation, he mentions Rich Kleiman. And I'm like, what? So you explain to me, why is Phoenix, quote unquote, working with Rich Kleiman to get him to a desired destination? For reputational around the league for other players?
Well, maybe. But I mean, it might be his business partner. But unlike Rich Paul, he can't control these teams. Like Rich Paul could control it where he wants his guys to go because he can go, oh yeah, well, this and this and this. Like, I mean,
yes,
he can make sure stuff takes place, right? I don't know if you saw, but recently, I think it was Patience Stojakovic. Did you see that? He was on a show. He was on a podcast, and he went off about it, about how, that De'Aaron Fox, he said not only did he, blackmail people to make sure that he, once De'Aaron signed with Rich, that he got him to San Antonio, and they made sure that Zach LaVine was the return that they got from Chicago, and that, I mean, it was all so wild. I was like, wow. Like, I mean, there was, there's a guy that was out there that was like, halfway making excuses for the way it played out with Sacramento, but halfway attempting to explain, like, this is the way this stuff works. And it's like, because if you want this to happen, then this needs to happen. And like, they do have a lot of power to be able to do right by their players. That's what I'm saying. They have a lot of power to do right by their players. You make any decision you want to about that. As far as I know, there's no Kevin Durant LLC that has like a whole stockyard of players.
Exactly. I don't think the boardroom has a few dozen huge players.
Got some podcasters.
Why would Phoenix take less from Team A than they can get from Team B to help Kevin Durant.
Right.
Why? I don't understand the motivation.
Because that's the way this stuff has gone. Well, no. Here's the reason. Life is leverage. And what happens is they go out to these teams. That's why this whole Minnesota thing is happening, right? They go out to the team and they say, fine, go ahead, but we're not signing there. That's why this whole story of him warming up there that's the leverage. It's not the leverage he has on Phoenix. It's the leverage that he has with the other team to say, you're going to give up blank, 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 and I'm not staying there.
Yeah.
No, it's a Kawhi thing.
An unhappy Kevin Durant we've seen before, and that can ruin your
this is what Jimmy Butler
season.
did.
Your whole entire season.
Jimmy Butler just kept leaking where he didn't want to go.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so that's their leverage, is just to say, if they're in that, you don't have leverage if you're in some kind of long contract. But if you're in a short contract where it's like, okay, then you're doing this for a 1-year rental to get somebody that doesn't even want to be there.
James Harden in Houston.
Right.
Jimmy Butler in Miami.
Right.
So I think by Thursday we'll probably have a trade. And I hope it's to the Rockets. I hope it's to the Rockets.
Possible.
I don't understand the Heat. I don't see, I don't get it.
I don't get that.
Wiggins and who? What are you, Jaime Jaquez?
No, Duncan Robinson, bro.
And Duncan Robinson? If I'm Phoenix, it's oh, cool. We traded Kevin Durant for Andrew Wiggins and Duncan Robinson.
Cap space to free us up so that we're not, fifth apron till the end of time.
Yeah, well, so sorry for not believing in the Suns' long-term decision making. I'm not a huge believer in the Suns' sort of long-term front office decision making.
You may have heard the team in Memphis, Tennessee has the 2026 Phoenix Suns first round pick.
I think that might look pretty good.
A hell of an asset that they got.
Verno, people want to hear. People want to hear. It looks from the outside looking in like Memphis maybe sort of made this decision with an eye on the future, not the present.
The future being next year?
No, beyond.
Going forward. Okay.
Yeah, it seems like the Memphis Grizzlies.
Oh, I've listened to it all.
It seems like the Memphis Grizzlies are a worse basketball team than they were 2 days ago.
That is without question true.
Okay.
Yep.
As a Grizzly guy, let the people know what you think.
I think that this was... You have 3 players that are on max level contracts, right? Jaren Jackson Jr. is going to get a new contract. John Morant will be up for extension when his extension comes up. You signed Desmond Bane to $200 million contract, right? Desmond Bane has only played one of those years. His contract goes 36, 39, 42, 45. That's what's left on his contract.
That's palatable, to be honest with you, because I love Desmond Bane. That's palatable.
Okay. Oh, you know what? All it took for everybody to love Desmond Bane and for everybody to talk about Desmond Bane was him to be traded from Memphis. Because I've been here for 5 straight years and no one has given a shit about Desmond Bane in the national media.
See, I disagree.
I disagree. Second he got traded,
I disagree.
Everybody loved Desmond Bane.
No, because there was the whole...
True.
No, I'll explain. No. There's the whole, the record without John Morant. That has been a storyline about the Grizzlies, is without John Morant, they still stay afloat. Without John Morant, they're still successful, and a lot of that has to do with Desmond Bane.
So earlier this year, because we can go find the tape, when I talked about them having 3 guys, and you said 3?
Well, yeah, you said a big 3. You said big 3, like it was, LeBron, Wade, and Bosh.
Okay, so he's not that good.
No.
Okay. I was just making sure. No, I mean, look, I love Desmond Bane. Desmond Bane's a fantastic player. Desmond Bane, a lot like the Lillard-McCollum thing, you're always going to have an issue there where it's where you got 2 smaller guards, okay?
Mm-hmm.
If you want to tell me that the Grizzlies should not build around John Morant, that's a whole nother conversation that we can that me and anybody else can disagree on, all right? Or him and Jaren Jackson Jr. But I will just tell you this, because everybody has this incredibly short memory. They have had Jaren Jackson and John Morant and Desmond Bane alike. They've had them, and they were the number 2 seed in the Western Conference, and they won 56 games. And then they turned around, and then they were the number 2 seed in the Western Conference. And they won 51 games. And then this past year, then 2 years ago, the whole team got injured, and that season went to hell. Like, nobody even played, right? Nobody played. Then this past year, they're the number 2 seed until, mid-February? And then they ended up in the 8th spot after the season ends catastrophically, and they end up firing their coach, okay? This whole, why would they be closer to blowing it up or whatever, this fantasy that people have, rather than getting better? Do you know how many wins separated the 3 seed Lakers and the Memphis Grizzlies?
3.
2 wins. 2.
So,
So the difference between being the 3 seed and the 8 seed, the 3 seed who I suppose is competing for championships, right? Because they got Luka. And the 8 seed, and nobody likes anybody on the Grizzlies, right? They don't like John Morant. They don't like Jaren Jackson. They don't care about any of the other guys. They wouldn't know Jalen Wells or
everybody loves
Zach.
Everybody loves you.
Okay,
everybody
they wouldn't know any of these guys. Just explain to me how they've won if all of these guys aren't good and the coach isn't good. How? How are they 2 games out of the 3 seed? When Jaren Jackson Jr. has played, they have won almost 60% of their games. When John Morant has played, they have won almost 60% of their games. They played last season. John Morant played 50 games. 50. They got nothing out of Marcus Smart. Literally negative value out of Marcus Smart, who was supposed to be the starting small forward. They had their star point guard play 50 games. They had nothing out of Marcus Smart. And they started the 39th pick in the draft and the 9th pick in the draft. And they had 2 less wins than the 3 seed. Who in their right mind would go the other direction? So when you have the opportunity to add 4 picks, a pick swap, and 2 veteran, rotation level players who both have contracts that are infinitely tradable, along with owning all of your own first round picks, and you don't think the ideal fit next to John Morant and Jaren Jackson is the Desmond Bane archetype, why on earth would you not make that deal? Now, if they don't make big deals to get better, if we look up and we say, you know what, they got rid of Desmond Bane and they didn't add stuff to make them better, by all means, I'll kill them. Everybody should kill them. But they are trying to remake this team around, again, if you want to disagree that you shouldn't build out around John Morant and around Jaren Jackson. But when people talk about John Morant, they talk like he's Zion, like he hasn't won anything. Like, he's had 50-point playoff games. They've gone to the playoffs every year he's healthy. Every year. Like, what are we talking about?
Why are you so defensive about this?
Because I have to listen to this bullshit, and Bill's podcast with Russillo, he's like, I just went to Indiana and Oklahoma City, and Desmond Bane, that's the kind of guy that can play 35 minutes in that. Bro, you could have watched Oklahoma City play Memphis. Desmond Bane couldn't get a shot off. He couldn't. I saw him play Oklahoma City. In fact, anybody could have. It happened a month ago. He was 20 for 70, and he was 7 for 32 from 3. He couldn't dribble against them. He couldn't shoot against them. He couldn't do anything. And so that's why I tell you, the second Desmond Bane takes off a Memphis jersey, all of a sudden, he's king of the world. I love Desmond Bane, but stop it already. Nobody likes him until, right? and this happens with everything that with everything that happens when it comes to small markets. That's just true. I promise you, if the whoever named the team, if somebody traded for Reed Shepherd, people would say, "Oh my God, value! Look at what they just got. They just got the third pick in the draft. The guy hasn't even shown what he can do yet. Houston's crazy for getting rid of him. But if another team got him, it's like, oh my God, look, why Reed Shepherd? I mean, he's been the biggest bust. He's the only of the rookies that hasn't turned into anything. And that's just the way this stuff goes. Anytime a team leaves a team that's not on TV a bunch. But that one really got me. The whole Desmond Bane could play against Oklahoma City. Okay. I literally just lived it.
So here's the part I want to ask you about, because I follow the Knicks accounts and it's like, oh, the Knicks want to pair Jaren Jackson Jr. with Karl Anthony Towns.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, what?
I'm sure they do.
I'm just like, what? And then I'm seeing like fake trades. So it feels like the reaction to this move is Memphis is rebuilding and clearing house.
Bro, if they don't use the assets that they have attained in order to make themselves a better team, totally fair. But I'm telling you, they are acquiring these assets
for what?
To make themselves a better team.
For what?
So that they can build out around. Look, the archetype that they have been looking for. Obviously, they just attained Caldwell Pope, right? But the kind of archetype they've been looking for. They have tried to get OG Anunoby. They've tried to get Mikal Bridges. They have tried to get Dorian Finney-Smith. They have tried to get these type of players.
DFS
you are seeing,
was one they should have got.
The ones, well, he's a free agent now. The ones you're seeing with Indiana, the ones you're seeing with Oklahoma City, the teams that you're going to have to be dealing with. And the type of basketball that you're going to have to be dealing with.
I feel like Jalen Williams is that guy.
If any team in the league traded a non-all-star player for 4 first-round picks, a pick swap, and 2 rotation-level players, you can't even do this on 2K. Go try to trade Desmond Bane on 2K for that. You can't do it.
Well, the Nets did it last year with Bridges.
And what did people do all year? God, that was a lot to give up for Mikal Bridges. I think Desmond Bane is going to be great with Orlando. I also think he's perfect and a perfect fit with Orlando. And I love Desmond Bane, and I will root for Desmond Bane forever. But that return is unbelievable. It is unbelievable return for Desmond Bane. Come on, bro. 4 first-round picks, a pick swap.
Okay, 4 first-round picks, but where are those picks going to be?
Phoenix's pick next year might be the number 1 pick in the draft.
It might.
And all I'll say is you never know on these picks.
That's the thing. Picks aren't
you
players.
Never know. Look, do you know? Hey, I just mentioned to you that Memphis was the number 2 seed 2 years ago, right?
Yeah.
Number 2 seed. So how quickly things change. You know who the 3 seed was? Sacramento. How quickly things change. Yeah, I got it, right? Orlando's here to stay. Orlando's going to be awesome forever.
Oh, yeah.
We just
4 more oblique injuries next year. Who knows?
I just understand the way this stuff goes. But, I mean, that was a good trade for Memphis. And immediately, and can we also just say this? Can you stop everybody with are they just going to blow it up? They're just going to blow it up. Even my old buddy KOC, because he just wants attention. But who thinks it's a good method of operation to blow it up? All of these teams just got an absolute, I don't even want to say. Let's just say, do you think that it was fun for Utah on draft night? Do you think it was fun for the 20-win New Orleans Pelicans on draft night? Who thinks that's the way that you need to remake your team now? Wake up! We just watched the draft. Cooper Flagg's about to be playing in Dallas, for God's sake. Dylan Harper's going to be playing in San Antonio. And now they're just going to, they traded Devane, so now They'll probably trade Morant. They'll probably trade Jackson.
Trade Jackson Jr. You should probably try to lose. Probably try to win 10 games next year.
Yeah.
So the idea that you're either like in the NBA Finals or you should literally not try to win games and there's no middle ground, especially for a small market team, is kind of silly to me because, as you mentioned, there's 2 games that separated the 3 seed and the 8 seed in the Western Conference. 2 games.
I mean, look, only because of me, but you had to go through the torture. And this probably cost Taylor Jenkins his job, who might very well be the new Knicks coach in the coming days.
He's the only person that's going to interview for the job.
He's the only person they haven't asked yet.
They should hire Tracy Morgan. Try to say
trust me, Taylor Jenkins is going to be the greatest coach ever when New York hires him. Look, if you play in Memphis, nobody cares. If you move, Desmond Bane is now.
Knicks fans are going to be so happy about Jenkins because they're going to think he's black. They're going to be like, we got a black head coach.
Anyways, here's what I'll say. You look back at these, what probably cost him his job. They lost 3 straight home games. Like one of them was Atlanta. One of them was to your Knicks.
Oh, yeah, in overtime. On a Saturday or Sunday.
Bro, they lost 3 straight games
I remember.
At home on the last shot of the game.
Yes, of course. Okay? That was a Saturday. I think it was a Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So it was like a 4-day stretch. I think it was like a Friday, Sunday, Monday, if I remember correctly.
Dyson Daniels ripped it, threw it ahead to Karis LeVert. Right? So these 3 games probably cost him his job. 3 games in a row, literally they lost on the last shot of the game at home.
One to the Knicks,
like
in overtime.
Crazy circumstances, like truly crazy circumstances, all 3 of them. If let's just say the ball bounces, it goes out on those 3 games, they would have been the 3 seed in the Western Conference. And then what?
Verno, you can't do this.
It's just, they're not the Heat.
You can say this,
they're not the Heat, and these are the Cavs. Like, there's not that gulf that has gone on in the Western Conference.
Was it competitive against the Thunder in the playoffs?
No. Were the Lakers competitive against the Wolves?
No.
Okay, because they were the 3 seed. So, you tell me. How many games did the Wolves win against Oklahoma City?
What do you expect?
How many? How many? How many games did the Wolves win against Oklahoma City? They won 1 game. Okay.
1 game. Okay. Yeah. Well, you guys were up at halftime in game 3.
27 when John Morant got clipped out of the air.
Halftime. Yeah.
27.
They looked great.
Does anybody else had him down 27? Maybe Denver.
Looked great in that first half.
Yeah.
What do you expect from KCP? Like,
I mean, a guy.
2 years ago, KCP was one of an extremely valuable 3-and-D guys.
He's one of you know what? I saw this thing the other day, and you know how much you love these stats that where everybody goes, one of these things is not like the other, and it was one of those. But it was like, these are the current players in the NBA that have started on 2 different NBA title teams. And it was like, LeBron
Caruso?
and Kyrie and whatever. Sure, No. But KCP's on there because he won in LA and he won in Denver. I do think that the offense for Orlando was absolutely pitiful. And I do think that his job is to knock down corner threes. And if there's anything John Morant does, he will generate wide open corner threes. And you just have to be able to hit them. And until this past year, he has always hit those at a very good rate. And then he's got to guard the other team's best player.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's what I expect if he's on the team.
Yeah,
and I also expect he's a veteran who's won something, which is exactly what that locker room needs. It's what Marcus Smart was supposed to be. And then, I don't know. I think, I'll tell you this. I don't think Memphis is close to done. Not even close. Not even close. I think they are going to remake that roster around John Morant and Jaren Jackson Jr. If you want to argue that's foolishness, that's fine.
No, as they should.
But they will try to remake the roster around them, and then let's look at the end of this offseason, or let's even look, maybe by draft night.
I think being bad on purpose is not a good strategy for the Memphis Grizzlies. It's not. It's just silly.
They would never do that.
It's just silly. It's just silly. And I'm excited for them. You know what I mean? There's the Chicago Bulls of the Western Conference. It'll be great. It'll be great. Be in the play-in again. It'll be awesome.
Yeah. I don't know how they win when nobody likes anybody on their team. Nobody likes Ja. Nobody likes Jaren.
Why does nobody see? Now you're just making up narratives that don't exist. Who doesn't like Jaren Jackson Jr.? Who doesn't like Ja?
No, don't think they're that good. Is what I'm saying.
They're great.
Nobody thinks these guys are that. Go look at any list.
I love Jalen Wells. That's who I love.
Oh, you love Jalen Wells.
I thought they missed him a lot. Actually, I thought that was a huge problem for them. They would have beat the Thunder, swept them. They would have swept the Thunder.
I will say this. I do think that Bane trade, and I think whatever is about to happen with Durant is it. I buy that there's going to be radical change in rosters around, of course, around the NBA, and it very well could kick off like, we only have a week and a half until the draft. I think these next 2 weeks are going to be absolutely insane.
I think they're going to be really fun, and I also think it's fun for you because the Suns are going to end up losing, quote unquote, losing the Kevin Durant trade, and you're going to have that pick in 2027.
26 next year.
Oh, it's next year?
Yeah.
Oh, God. So you're going to get to watch the Grizzlies, and then the late game, you get to root against the Suns. That'll be so much fun.
By the way, they also the 16th pick in this year's draft, which is in a week and a half.
Is that soon?
Week and a half.
I got to do some research. We'll be back Thursday
night after Game 6. We both think Pacers are going to win?
Yeah.
All right. Well, it'll either be a coronation or we'll be getting to talk about Game 6 and then leading into Game 7. Should be fun. Thank you to our executive producer, Jessie Lopez, as always. Thanks to our video producer, Tucker and Jacoby. I will talk to you Thursday night.
Must be 21 and over and present in select states for Kansas in affiliation with Kansas Star Casino, or 18 and over and present in D.C. Got a gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit rg-help.com. Call 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut or visit mdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland. Hope is here. Visit gamblinghelplinema.org or call 800-327-5050 for 24/7 support in Massachusetts, or call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY in New York.